Ready. Hello everyone, welcome back to the session today. Um, Tomorrow somebody else will take the session from 3 to 5 as I'm not available tomorrow. But today we will look at the Infosys pattern once again. I'll repeat some of the aspects of what to expect for Infosys. Then I will go ahead with passage comprehension. It will be slightly different from yesterday. I know yesterday a couple of passages were far more complex. So I have picked some 4 to 5 samples of passage comprehension, which is quite simpler than what we saw yesterday. But for Infosys per se, you will not get very easy passage. So let's not expect that Infosys selection will be easier for you. It's one of the best companies, like I always say, and they need the best people. So once you join Infosys, you will get to work in a building like this. This is the Infosys Hyderabad campus, and this is where the Infosys training happens for all the new hires, all the freshers, all the candidates who join from campus and outside. This is the facility which is located in Mysore. This is a central training learning building which is located in Mysore. In order to get here, you need to go through the very stringent and strict selection process. In the selection process, you have a written test followed by interview. Written test is divided into analytical and verbal ability. Analytical has quantitative aptitude and reasoning with 15 questions each that needs to be answered in 40 minutes. In verbal ability, you will have 40 questions. That includes 2 passage comprehension, and that needs to be answered in 30 minutes. So there is no essay writing, but these are all multiple choice. For written test for Infosys is everything multiple choice. This is followed by interview, where you will have a technical round and HR round. You need to clear each of the round in order to get selected. Likewise, you need to clear analytical as well as verbal ability in order to qualify for the interview round. As far as the aptitude is concerned, you will have questions coming from data interpretation, syllogism, data sufficiency, problems on trains, which is time and distance. Then you have time and work, permutation and combinations, number series, coding and decoding, and puzzles. And as far as the written assessment on verbal ability is concerned, you will have critical reasoning and theme detection. We have already finished these 2 areas. Fill in the blanks, we also finished this. We'll do a recap soon. Sentence correction, I have done it in the past. We'll do this again, but today I'm going to focus again on reading comprehension. So basically you will have 2 paragraphs with 5 questions each. So out of 40, 10 questions will come for passage comprehension itself. In order to practice, in order to understand the pattern well, there are a couple of apps available on Google Play Store, Pocket Verbal Ability and Pocket Aptitude. Here are the pictures of these 2 apps, which is available on Google Play Store. In case if you have a smartphone which runs on Android, you may go ahead and look at these 2 areas of the application. Now these applications are not available on these applications are not available on iOS. It's available only on Android device. So in case if you have an iPhone, you may not be able to use it. So you got to use it only if you have an Android phone. So when we speak about passage comprehension, you will be given a 4 or 5 line paragraph. The paragraph could be a little longer as well, we don't know. But each of these paragraphs will have 4 to 5 questions which you need to answer. You need to analyze and then answer. One approach of passage comprehension is where you read the entire passage and then you answer the question. Or you read the question first, then look for answer in the entire passage. The best way of approaching a passage comprehension is read the question. Say for example question number 1, read the question, look at the choices, go back, read the entire passage. Now you will be able to place which information is mentioned where. Go back and answer. When you go to question number 2, when you look at the options, you will have a memory as to which information is mentioned in which part of the passage. That way it will be much more faster. For verbal ability, please remember you have only 30 minutes and you need to answer 40 questions. It will be slightly challenging, but you need to practice a lot. Alright? So what we're going to do today is we're going to practice few passage comprehension now, and I'm going to open up the lines at 3:30 p.m. Right now the time is 3:07. In another 23 minutes I will open up the lines. So please call and ask whatever questions you have. Since last 2 days we haven't been getting many calls. So this is the number where you can call at 3:30. But if you have a question and you want to call now, it's fine. But the time slot dedicated for question and answer is 3:30 onwards. Alright? Before that, we will look at couple of examples for passage comprehension from Infosys point of view. Here is the first one on the screen. Laws of nature are not commands but statements of acts. The use of the word law in this context is rather unfortunate. It would be better to speak of uniformities in nature. This would do away with the elementary fallacy that a law implies a lawgiver. If a piece of matter does not obey a law of nature, it is punished. On the contrary, we say that the law has been incorrectly started. I'm going to read this passage again and explain. Laws of nature are not commands of statements of acts. The use of the word law in this context is rather unfortunate. It would be better to speak of uniformities in nature. This would do away with the elementary fallacy that a law implies a lawgiver. If a piece of matter does not obey a law of nature, it is punished. On the contrary, we say that the law has been incorrectly started. Let's understand what it says. It says the laws of nature are not commands but statement of act. Statement of act means there is a rule which is stated. It says laws of nature are not commands. What do we mean by command? Command means an order. It says laws of nature are not commands or order but statement of fact. It's just stating an act or stating a rule. Next line. The use of the word law in this context is rather unfortunate. Means we cannot be using the word law because it's not a command but it's a statement. It would be better to speak of uniformities in nature. Uniformity means it's equal. So it would be better if we speak about the equality in nature. This would do away with the elementary fallacy that a law implies a lawgiver, which means this would do away. Do away means eliminate. This will eliminate the elementary fallacy. Fallacy means pitfall, something wrong, that a law implies a lawgiver. If a piece of matter does not obey a law of nature, it is punished, which means in nature, if something or someone does not follow the law, they get punished. On the contrary, we say that the law has been incorrectly started. But instead of saying that the law has not been followed, we say that the law itself is wrong. On the contrary means instead of saying this, I say that. For example, we have spent 2 months for the training. Contrary to the effect, the results are disappointing. Means the efforts were so much but the result is not that much. Contrary means opposite. So let's read the last line again. On the contrary, we say that the law has been incorrectly started. That means the previous line, what does it say? This would do away with the elementary fallacy that a law implies a lawgiver. If a piece of matter does not obey a law of nature, it is punished. Means somebody doesn't follow the law, they get punished. Instead of saying that, we say that the law itself is incorrect. Alright, this is the passage. Now here is your first question. If a piece of matter violates nature's law, it is not punished because it is not binding to obey it, there is no superior being to enforce the law of nature, it cannot be punished, it simply means that the facts have not been correctly stated by law. I'll read the question again and then we'll look at the answer. If a piece of matter violates nature's law, it is not punished because it is not binding to obey it, there is no superior being to enforce the law, it cannot be punished, it simply means that the fact have not been correctly stated by the law. I will go back to the passage, I will pause here so that you can read and then you can think and answer. So, we will pause here so that you can read this. Okay? I explain what does this passage mean. In terms of punishment, it says, if a piece of matter does not obey a law of nature, it is punished, which means if you don't obey, you get punished. But the question says, if a piece of matter violates nature's law, it is not punished. So, they escape punishment. Why do they escape punishment? Is it because it is not binding to obey it? Means it's not necessary for the piece of matter to obey the law? Is it because there is no superior being to enforce the law of nature? That means there is no superiority in the nature's hierarchy to ensure the law is followed? Is it because the piece of matter cannot be punished? Or is it simply means that, no, I'm reading. It simply means that the fact have not been correctly stated by the law. What is the reason? And the correct answer is B. There is no superior being to enforce the law of nature. Let's understand what it says. The passage here says the law has nature, number one. Number two, the law should be equal for everybody. Number three, if somebody does not follow law, they should be punished. Number four, when somebody gets punished, we cannot say the law is incorrect. We have to say the person did something wrong. That is what the passage says. But what does the question say? When you look at the question, it says, if a piece of matter violates nature's law, it is not punished. I am reading. If a piece of matter violates nature's law, it is not punished. The passage says everybody should get punished because they need to follow the law. But in case if they are not getting punished, how can they escape punishment? That is the question. So, they escape punishment when there is nobody above them to supervise if they followed the law or not. That is why B is the correct answer. It says it's because there is no superior being to enforce the law of nature. Let's understand one thing, guys, when it comes to passage comprehension. The passage will be a bunch of words or bunch of sentences. The questions will not be a straightforward question. Say for example, the passage says, Mr. Ravi is pursuing his B.S.C. final year computer science from A.P.S.D.C college in Vijayawada. He wants to become a software engineer in a big multinational corporation, but he could not do engineering for financial reasons and family conditions. That's why he enrolled in B.S.C. Ravi is a very bright student. He is working very hard. He went for a campus drive. He was told by the organization that he is not a software engineer. He is not doing a B.Tech or B.E. That's why he cannot apply. But Ravi told them that he has worked really hard. For him, the kind of the degree does not matter, the knowledge matters. Hence, he was allowed to participate in the interview and assessment and he got a job. This is the paragraph. Now, you are not in 8th standard or 5th standard that the question will say, what is the name of the college? R.K. Degree College. What is the stream of education Ravi is pursuing? BSc Computer Science. What is the mandatory qualification needed in the MNC? B.Tech or BE? You will not get questions like that. We used to get such simpler questions on a passage when we were in 4th standard or the 8th standard in our exam, English exam. This passage comprehension is trying to gauge your analytical skills, your thinking ability, and your comprehension skills. So if you think the paragraph will be very simple and the questions you can easily find out the answer, no, then what's the point in doing the exam? They can just directly take people, right? They want to pick people who can think, analyze, and arrive at the right decision. That's why the questions are complex. You need to think and answer. All right, let's go back. We will redo this particular question so that now you will understand better. All right, let's read again. Laws of nature are not command but statements of act. The use of word law in this context is rather unfortunate. It would be better to speak of uniformities in nature. This would do away with the elementary fallacy that a law implies a lawgiver. If a piece of matter does not obey a law of nature, it is punished. On the contrary, we say that the law has been incorrectly started. All right. Question number 1. If a piece of matter violates nature's law, it is not punished because there is no superior being to enforce the law of nature. Nobody is there to monitor. Question number 2. Laws of nature differ from man-made laws because the former state facts of nature. What do we mean by former? There is one important thing which I need to tell you. I am going to type couple of things. Okay. There are two words which you will come across in a sentence: former, latter. Latter is, this latter is different from the word later. This is different, latter is different. First word is former, the second word is latter, the third one is later. Later is different, latter is different. Later means afterwards. I will answer your question later, means after some time. What do we mean by former and latter? So I will quickly explain. Let me arrange the screen for you so that you can easily see this. Okay. So I am keeping this on top. I am going to write a quick sentence in order to help you understand what do I mean. So I say Sam and John were best friends since childhood. Both of them were intelligent. They aspired to be successful. So they were best friends since childhood. Both of them were intelligent. They aspired to be successful. However, the former became I'm sorry. Okay, all right. I'm going to tell you former latter difference. Let me expand this just a bit. Okay, I hope now it's visible. Sam and John were best friends since childhood. Both of them were intelligent. They aspired to be successful. However, the former became a doctor and the latter became a singer. Now, former and latter, I'm sure this mouse cursor is visible. The former and latter are used when you have comparison or information about two things, two nouns. So, one is Sam, the second one is John. Former means the first one in this combination. Oops. Okay. So, former means the first one in the combination. Latter means the second one. So, when I say the former in this line, however, the former became a doctor means Sam. The latter became a singer means John. That is former and latter. It is used to state about two different things in a same sentence when you are comparing. Okay? So, that is a function of former and latter. Now, let us look at this particular question. Okay. Laws of nature differ from man-made laws because the former state facts of nature. What is the former here? What are the two comparisons? Laws of nature versus man-made laws. Law made by nature and law made by man. That is the comparison. Here the former means the first one, which is laws of nature. Laws of nature differ from man-made laws because the former state facts of nature, because they must be obeyed, because they are natural, means I am talking only about laws of nature here. Because they are natural, because they must be obeyed, because unlike human laws, they are systematic. Human laws are not systematic. If you go to any country or any society, the laws followed by humans is not uniform. It changes. Say for example, if you go to a place in United States called Utah, U-T-A-H, Utah, okay? There is a very strange law there when it comes to human beings. For example, if you are going by the forest side and if there are animals crossing the road, okay, if there are animals crossing the road, you have to stop. You need to let the animals pass, only then you can pass. Otherwise, you can be convicted. There can be cases lodged against you. That's a rule. But in some other states, the same rule does not apply. For example, if we talk about India, we have state-wise legislations in terms of taxation. But in terms of law, it's all the same. All right. So it means to say a man-made law is not uniform, it's not systematic, but the law of nature is systematic. What is the law of nature? Law of the nature states predators like lions and tigers are on top of the food chain. They rule the entire food chain. Food should be available for everyone. For example, if you go to a forest, if there is a water body, there is a pond or a lake, that lake, all the animals are allowed to come and drink water there. It's not, there is no reservation system in a forest, right? That you are a king, you are the tiger, you can drink water first, only then other animals will come. Or during dry season, during summer, water will not be available for other animals, it will be available only for the elephant. There is no such law, it's uniform for everyone. But human laws are not uniform, not systematic. That is what this particular slide is talking about. So let's look at the question again. Laws of nature differ from man-made laws. I am reading. laws of nature differ from man-made laws because the former state facts of nature, they must be obeyed, they are natural, unlike human laws, they are systematic. Now think and tell me what is the correct answer. Is law of nature different from man-made? Is it because the law of nature is facts of nature? Is it because it has to be obeyed? Any law has to be obeyed, right? Even if for humans, the law has to be obeyed. Is it because it is natural, or is it because unlike human laws, they are systematic? Option number D, it is systematic. Think and give me the answer. I am explaining in the simplest possible way. I am explaining every word, every sentence from the passage, from the question, from the options also. You should be able to answer this, alright. Let's read again the question and then the answer. Laws of nature differ from man-made laws because the former state facts of nature, because they must be obeyed, because they are natural, because unlike human laws, they are systematic. And the correct answer is because the former states facts of nature. The law is drawn on the facts of nature, whatever nature has provided. Alright. Next, the laws of nature based on observation are conclusion about the nature of universe, true and unfalsifiable. You cannot falsify, you cannot create any kind of fraudulent activity there. Figments of the observer's imagination. Figment means imaginary things, alright. Figment of observer's imagination, subject to change in the light of new fact. I read again. The laws of nature based on observation are conclusion about the nature of the universe, true and unfalsifiable, figments of observer imagination, subject to change in the light of new facts. What is the law of nature based on? Think and answer. The correct answer is it's a subject to change in the light of new facts. If the fact changes, the law changes. If the nature changes, the law also changes. That's what it means. Next question. The author is not happy with the word law because, now how do you know he is not happy? If you look at the paragraph, it says the use of the word law in this context is rather unfortunate. He is saying it should not be used. So the question says the author is not happy with the word law because it connotes rigidity and harshness. Connotes means it derives or it means. Rigidity means something which is strong but at the same time not flexible. Harshness means rude, harsh, tough. It connotes rigidity and harshness. It implies an agency which has made them. It does not convey the sense of nature's uniformity. It gives rise to false beliefs. Please read and then think and answer. The author is not happy with the word law because it connotes rigidity and harshness, because it implies an agency which has made them, because it does not convey the sense of nature's uniformity, because it gives rise to false beliefs. And the correct answer is it connotes rigidity and harshness, because law of nature is equal, it does not change. Alright, good. So let's move on to the next paragraph. I am opening up the lines now. It's 3:30. The lines are open now. So you will have the numbers flash on your screen. So please dial and ask your question, whatever question you have. Let's have the number flash on the screen, please. You will have 3 numbers flash on the screen and you can call. While I wait for the call, I will continue with the program as well. So here are the numbers for you: 2354-0726, 2354-0326, 1-800-425-4039. I'm reading this loud again so that you can take this down. This is the same number you can call every day from 3:30 to 4:30. 2354-0726, 2354-0326, 1-800-425-4039. So if you have any questions, you can call now. I will continue with the slide. At this stage of civilization, when many nations are brought into close and vital contact for good and evil, it is essential as never before that their gross ignorance of one another should be diminished, that they should begin to understand a little of one another's historical experience and resulting mentality. It is the fault of the English. Here when I say it's the fault of the English, I don't mean the country. I don't mean the language, I mean the country. It is the fault of the English to expect the people of the other countries to react as they do to political and international situations. Our genuine goodwill and good intentions are often brought to nothing because we expect other people to be like us. This would be corrected if we knew the history, not necessarily in detail, but in broad outline of the social and political conditions which have given to each nation its present character. I'll read again, read slow, but I will not explain line by line. You need to understand. If I keep explaining, again in the main exam, you will want somebody to come and explain. I will go slow so that you can understand. At this stage of civilization, when many nations are brought into close and vital contact for good and evil, it is essential as never before that their gross ignorance, that their gross ignorance of one another should be diminished, that they should begin to understand a little of one another's historical experience and resulting mentality. It is the fault of the English to expect the people of other countries to react as they do to political and international situations. Our genuine goodwill and good intentions are often brought to nothing because we expect other people to be like us. This would be corrected if we knew the history, not necessarily in detail, but in broad outlines of the social and political conditions which have given to each nation its present character. Question number 1. According to author, the mentality of a nation is mainly product of its history, international position, politics, present character. I'll go back so that you can read the passage again. The lines are open. You can also call and ask whatever questions you have. So read and try to figure out where the answer is. So here is the question. According to the author of mentality of a nation is mainly product of its history, international position, politics, present character. And the correct answer is absolutely, that is history. All right. Question number 2. The need for a greater understanding between nations was always there, is no longer there, is more today than ever before, will always be there. I repeat, the need for a greater understanding between nations was always there, is no longer there, is more today than ever before, will always be there. And the correct answer is more today than ever before. Earlier, the understanding between countries were not as much as it is today. Next question. The character of a nation is a result of its mentality, cultural heritage, gross ignorance, socio-political conditions. If I look at question number 1, it says, according to the author, mentality of a nation. Here I am saying the character of the nation. First one is mentality, here I am talking about the character. The character of the nation is a result of its mentality, cultural heritage, gross ignorance, socio-political conditions. And the correct answer is socio-political conditions. Socio means social condition. Political means you obviously understand what is political condition, where the rulers or the democracy changes. Alright. Next, according to the author, his countrymen should read the history of other nations, have a better understanding of other nations, not react to other actions, have vital contacts with other nations. I repeat, according to the author, his countrymen should read the story of other nations, have a better understanding of other nations, not react to other actions, have vital contacts with other nations. And the correct answer is have better understanding of other nations. Clear? Next question. Englishmen, like people who live in UK, United Kingdom, British. So, Englishmen like others to react to political situation like us, themselves, others, each others. Basically, it means how do Englishmen react to political situation? Okay, the options are us, themselves, others, each others, and the correct option is themselves. They behave or they think like they want to, and they want everybody else to think like them. That's what it means. All right. Now I am moving to the third passage. I am going to pause here so that you can read first and then I will read this. Okay, let's start. Today, perhaps your only association with the word polio is the Sabin oral vaccine that protects children from the disease. 55 years ago, this was not so. The dreaded disease, which mainly affects the brain and spinal cord, I'm sorry, the spelling of "and" is incorrect here. Let me correct that. Okay, all right, here we go. Today, perhaps your only association with the word polio is the Sabin oral vaccine that protects children from the disease. 55 years ago, this was not so. The dreaded disease, which mainly affects the brain and spinal cord, causing stiffening and weakening of muscles, crippling and paralysis, which is why I am in the wheelchair today. If somebody had predicted when I was born that this would happen to me, no one would have believed it. I was seventh child in a family of 4 pairs of brothers and sisters with huge 23-year gap between the first and the last. Now, there are some numbers involved here. I'll read that line again. I was the seventh child in a family of 4 pairs of brothers and sisters. 4 pairs means 4 into 2. 4 pairs of brothers and sisters with huge 23-year gap between the first and the last, which means the eldest sibling and the youngest sibling, there is a gap of 23 years. I was so fair and brown haired that I looked more like a foreigner than a Dawood Bori. That's a name. Whose name? You need to figure out. Read that line again. I was so fair and brown haired that I looked more like a foreigner than a Dawood Bori. I was also considered to be the healthiest of the brood. That is the paragraph. I'll read this again. Today, perhaps your only association with the word polio is the Sabin oral vaccine that protects children from the disease. 55 years ago, this was not so. The dreaded disease, which mainly affects the brain and spinal cord, causing stiffening and weakening of muscles, crippling and paralysis, which is why I am in the wheelchair today. If somebody had predicted when I was born that this would happen to me, no one would have believed it. I was seventh child in a family of 4 pairs of brothers and sisters with huge 23-year gap between the first and the last. I was so fair and brown haired that I looked like a foreigner than a Dawood Bori. I was considered to be the healthiest of the brood. Question number 1. In his childhood, the narrator was a weakling, very healthy, tall and slim, short and stout. Weakling, very healthy, tall and slim, short and stout. And the correct answer is healthy. As a kid, he was healthy. Later, something went wrong. In this passage, the word brood refers to, I'm going to correct this part. Just a moment. In this passage, the word brood refers to polio victims, foreign children, children in the family, Indian children. Read the last line again. I was also considered to be the healthiest of the brood. What does brood mean here? In this passage, he is talking about his entire family and his siblings. So think and tell me. In this passage, the word brood refers to polio victims, foreign children, children in the family, Indian children. The correct answer is children in the family. He is comparing himself with rest of them. Question number 3. The narrator was the 7th child in a family of 8 children, 16 children, 23 children, 4 children. 8, 16, 23, 4. Let's go back to the paragraph and let's look at this particular line. Okay. I was the 7th child in the family of 4 pairs of brothers and sisters. Right? So how many people I am talking about? 8. 4 pairs of brothers and sisters. It does not say 4 pairs of brothers and sisters each. That will become 16. 4 pairs of brothers 8 plus 4 pairs of sisters 8. 8 plus 8, 16. No. The sentence says 4 pairs of brothers and sisters together. That means the answer is 8. Alright. The narrator was the 7th child in a family of 8 children. Next, in this passage, the narrator is a patient of heart disease, polio, paralysis, nervous weakness. Heart disease, polio, paralysis, nervous weakness. And the correct answer is obviously polio, because the entire passage is talking about polio. Last question in this segment. In his childhood, the narrator looked more like a foreigner than a Dawood Bohri. This was because he was a foreign child. He was a very healthy boy. He was, again, one more spelling mistake, I am sorry about this. Because he was tall and smart, because he was fair and brown haired. This is very simple. Option D is the correct answer, because he was very fair and brown haired. Alright. So, I have couple of more passage to show. The lines are open. It opened up at 3:31 p.m. Indian Standard Time, to be precise. So, please pick up your phone. The phone looks like this. Okay. Pick up your phone, dial the number 2354-0726, 2354-0326, 1-800-425-4039. Please pick up the phone, call and ask your question. Today I got a call from the principal of Lepakshi College, where some students had questions on essay writing. I got a call on my cell phone. Somebody from A.P.S.S.D.C, Mr. Sampath, had called, and he said the principal wants to speak to you, which was very good of him. So one of the student had questions which I answered. We also have interactive session here live on TV and YouTube. So please make use of it. Please call and ask whatever questions you have regarding Capgemini or Infosys that I'm doing right now, or anything to do with aptitude. You can ask Mr. Sunil or comment, or probably you can ask me. I'll relay the information and he can answer this question tomorrow. So if you have any questions, please do ask. If you want to practice interviews, you can do so, but please make use of this opportunity, this platform. All right. So I have two more passages to speak about as a part of practice. Tomorrow I won't be here, but somebody else will definitely continue with the session. We'll take a quick break now. Once we come back from the break, I request you, I urge you to please call and ask questions, because I want to help. We want to make it a very helpful session. So after the break, please pick up your phone and call and ask your questions. We'll take a quick break and we come back soon. Thank you. All right, we are live on air. We are live. Sandhya, are you still there?
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Sandhya, how are you? Which college are you calling from?
I'm from A.P.S.S.D.C for Degree College, Rajati, sir.
All right, and you want to practice self-introduction?
Yes, sir.
All right, please go ahead, Sandhya.
Well, it's my pleasure to introduce myself. Well, I'm Sandhya from Raisoti. I born and raised in Raisoti. I completed my schooling in Sri Sandeep Vidya Mandir High School with 97%. I completed my intermediate in Sai Junior College with 92%. I am pursuing my B.S.C final year in SHR Degree College. My strengths are that I like to take challenges and I can do it. My way of thinking that I can take failure and success with balanced manners. I don't like to say my weaknesses, but I like to say scope or improve that for further development myself. Yeah, coming to my family, there are 5 members including me. My father is a doctor and my mother is a teacher. I done my computer CCCA course. That's all about me, sir. Thank you, sir,
Okay.
for giving me such a wonderful opportunity.
Okay, Sandhya, couple of things which you need to work on. Number one, you should start with what you're pursuing right now. Are you doing your BSc Computer Science?
Yes, sir. Fine.
Okay, so you should speak about what you're doing right now and go in reverse order. You said you're doing you spoke about your schooling first, right? Your schooling will come later.
Okay.
So it has to be reverse order. So you will say I'm pursuing my BSc Computer Science. In my second year, I secured 93%. Don't say percentage, say percent.
Okay.
Then speak about your first year percentage. Then speak about your intermediate and then matriculation. Speak about your strength, weakness. You can speak about your family background, which is a very good thing that you did. Also speak about your hobbies. It's a good thing to speak about hobbies. Okay? Now,
Yes, sir.
now some more question for you. So which company are you applying for? Is it Capgemini or Infosys?
Wipro, sir.
Wipro, okay. So why do you want to work in Wipro?
Because it is a number one, it is a top 10 companies. Wipro is one of the best companies, sir.
Okay. So how do you think Wipro will contribute to your development?
It is very good company in our. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. I'm listening to you.
I don't say much. I have no say. Well, how can I say?
Okay. So why do you think we should hire you? If I'm the HR manager for Wipro, why should I hire you?
Sorry, sir, I can't understand. Once again, repeat.
Why should I hire you?
I can't understand.
HIRE, hire. Why should I give you the job?
Because I have qualifications and I have capabilities for this job, sir.
What skills do you have?
I have communication skills
Okay.
and I have the talent.
What talent do you have, Sandhya?
I can do anything in any field, anywhere.
Can you do neurosurgery?
Sir,
Can you do neurosurgery?
I can do, sir.
Can you do neurosurgery?
Yes, I can do, sir.
What do you know about neurons?
Neurons means not.
I'm sorry, what?
Neurons means nerve system.
Nerve system. So, what is the difference between T4 and T5?
Could you please tell me, sir?
What do you think is the difference between T4 and T5?
T4 and T5.
Yes.
I don't know, sir.
Okay, just now you
Because
said you can do neurosurgery, right? A person
Yes, sir,
who
but-
gets into neuroscience and neurosurgery, they have to study 4 years or 5 years of MBBS, then another 6 years of specialization.
Sir, I'm BSc Computer computers, sir.
So what is the
Biotechnology.
connection of neurosurgery with BSc? Without even doing MBBS, how can you say you can do neurosurgery?
I don't know about that, sir, but you are asking me, that's why I am telling about
You know why I asked you that question? Because you said you have the talent, you can do anything in any field.
I know
Did you say that?
what I know that I can do, sir.
That you did not say that. You said I can do anything in any field, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you fly a spacecraft?
Sir?
Can you fly a space machine, a spacecraft?
No, sir.
Okay, so when you make a statement that you should hire me because I can do anything in any field, obviously they will ask questions like this. When you spoke about your self-introduction, your fluency was very high. That is because you have by-hearted your entire self-introduction. But when I asked a simple question about yourself, why should we hire you and why do you want to work in Wipro, your answer was very limited. This is the problem in interviews because first question, self-introduction, every candidate, they by heart the answer, they come prepared. After that, whatever answer they give, they don't think about what they are speaking. Like you said, I can do anything in any field. Can you really do that? No, you cannot. But you said it. So don't give an answer which can put you into trouble. Clear?
Sir.
What are your hobbies?
My hobbies are reading newspapers,
Okay.
drawing.
So what is the financial headline for today?
Today headline.
What is the headline today in financial world? Or let me change, what is the headline today in technology world? In terms of technology, what is the headline today?
I cannot see newspapers, sir, because I have school, sir. I can see evening, sir.
Did you read the newspaper yesterday?
I forgot that, sir.
Then you cannot say reading newspaper is your hobby. When you say something is your hobby, you should be able to answer the question, right?
Okay, sir.
So if you are not sure of something, don't speak about it in an interview.
Okay, sir.
Because if I say that my hobby is watching National Geographic, they will ask me something related to National Geographic. I should be able to answer.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Any questions you have?
Okay. Thank you, sir. In online class, we are seeing your online class in A.P.S.S.D.C. That's why I'm calling you.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Your class is so nice and so good, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks so much for the encouragement and the feedback. Really, really appreciate your efforts.
If you have any mistakes in my self-introduction, please excuse me, sir.
No, that is fine. You did a very good self-introduction, but your self-introduction was so good, I felt like asking more questions. Then I realized that you have memorized your self-introduction. So that's a problem. So be natural when you speak, okay?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Do we have any more caller? Caller Ledu. All right, please call Chayandi. All right, let's continue. I'm going to read one more passage here. The strength of the electronics industry in Japan is the Japanese ability to organize production and marketing rather than their achievements in original research. The British are generally recognized as far more inventive collection of individuals but never seem able to exploit what they invent. There are many examples from the TSRZ hovercraft, high-speed train and Sinclair scooters to the Triumph, BSA and Norton motorcycle which all prove this sad rule. The Japanese were able to exploit their strengths in marketing and development many years ago and the success was at first either not understood in the West or was dismissed as something which could have been produced only at their low price. They were sold because they were cheap copies of the people's ideas churned out of the workhouse, which was dedicated to hard grind above all else. I'll read this again slowly so that you understand. The strength of the electronics industry in Japan is the Japanese ability to organize production and marketing rather than the achievement in original research. The British are generally recognized as far more inventive collection of individuals, but never seem able to exploit what they invent. Okay, we have a caller. Good evening.
Hello, good evening, sir. How are you, sir?
I am doing good, sir. How are you?
Fine, sir.
What's your name?
Sir, Mohammed Rafi, sir.
Yes, Mr. Rafi, please ask your question.
Sir, here, mock assessments are not opening, sir.
I'm sorry, what?
Mock assessments, sir. A.P.S.S.D.C register form.
Okay, mock assessment.
Are not opening, sir, here.
Since when?
Sir, the starting point of this, sir.
No, since when? Since when are you facing this problem?
Sir, first thing, sir.
1st of November.
Yes, sir.
So did it work on 31st of October and 30th of October?
No, sir. I never opened, sir.
You mean since the beginning it's not working?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you say since 1st, I wonder what is 1st of November, October. What link are you using, Rafi?
Sir, you given me, sir. That link only, sir.
Okay, alright, just a moment.
In Chrome, sir.
Okay, we are calling from which college?
National degree, sir.
National Degree College, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can I have your Aadhaar number, please?
Yes, sir. Sir, 5057
5057
7194
7194
0173
0.
173.
I'm going to repeat this for you. 5057
Yes, sir.
7194
Yes, sir.
0173.
Yes, sir.
And you are, which browser are you using?
Sir, Google Chrome, sir.
You sure about it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just a minute, okay?
Okay, sir.
I will help you right here.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And you're calling from National Degree College?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How many students are there from your class who are participating? Is it 5?
Sir, I don't understood, sir.
How many students are there from the class who are participating in this program?
Sir, I think 180, sir.
Okay, just a moment.
Okay. Sir, here our college given holidays, sir. That's why we are not interact with college, sir.
Okay. For some reason, I do not have your name on the list. So I need to check this. Okay. National Degree College. And how many students you said are participating in this program?
180, sir. 180 or 200.
180 to 200, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And you belong to National Degree College?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm trying to look at my data. For some reason, it's not showing up. So I need to get this checked again.
Okay.
So once I check it, I'll be able to convey the information back to you.
Okay.
Okay. You have any other questions, sir?
Sir, can I interview, sir, with you?
You want to take my interview?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please start the interview. You want to take my interview, right?
Yes, sir. I can interact.
Interact.
Interact, sir.
All right, please start.
Sir, I am Mohammed Rafi State, native of Nanjal. I am doing my final year presentation computer application from Rajasthan University in Nanjal. And in my second year, I secured 75%. In my first year, I secured 69%.
All right.
Sir, I have done my intermediate, that is 10 place in Rahul Junior College. from Kurnool.
All right.
Sir, I also done my matriculation from Nandyal, sir.
Okay.
Sir, my hobbies are browsing, reading magazines, doing some fitness exercises, sir.
Okay.
Sir, coming to my family, I stay with my family.
Okay.
My father is self-employed. My mother is housewife.
Okay.
I have one brother and sister.
Mm-hmm.
My sister already got married,
All right.
and my brother is doing his inter from Rahul Junior College, sir.
Okay.
Sir, that's all about me, sir.
Okay. Strength, weakness, hobbies.
Sir, my strengths are adaptable, sir.
All right.
I'm very mingle with persons. I'm very mingle with everyone, sir.
Don't say I'm very mingled. Say I like to interact with people.
Yes, sir. I like to interact with people, sir.
Okay.
If I am working with team member,
Mm-hmm.
I'm always welcome to changes, sir.
Great. And why do you want to work in Infosys?
Sir, I learned a lot about your organization, sir. And I spoke some people.
Andu. Rafi, every time you say Andu or Vitu, you need to give 500 rupees penalty.
Okay, sir.
I'll give you my account number, send the money.
No, sir.
All right, continue.
Sir, I spoke to some of people of your organization
Okay.
and learned from the experience, sir.
All right. So why should we hire you, Rafi?
Sir, because of I have attitude and good knowledge about programming.
Okay.
Sir, I want to interact with people in your company and to learn from the experience, sir.
You again said Andu.
And sir, sir.
And.
Okay.
Okay.
No, sir.
Great. So if you have to choose between Capgemini and Infosys, which company will you choose and why?
Sir, I will choose Capgemini, sir. Why? Because I like culture of Capgemini, sir.
Okay.
And I appreciate the work culture, sir, in Capgemini.
All right.
That's all.
That's all? Okay. Are you attending the Infosys training?
Yes, sir.
So is there any feedback you have for Infosys
Yes,
training?
sir. I have one feedback, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, you told no fill in the blank, sir.
I told about what?
Fill in the blank, sir.
Yes, yes.
It's very difficult to know, sir. How we can manage, sir?
Yeah, I know. To be very honest with you, Rafi, Infosys verbal ability is little complex.
Yes, sir.
You need to practice a lot.
Practice, sir, but it's very difficult, sir.
Yeah, you need to read a lot. You need to practice a lot. If you just started learning now, it will be difficult. So try to practice a lot. The application which I was talking about, Pocket Verbal Ability.
Okay, sir.
So please download that if you have a smartphone.
Okay, sir.
You need to improve. Anybody who wants to be good, they need to improve on the grammar and vocabulary skills.
Sir, so just 1 minute, sir.
Yes.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Vocabulary. My math is there.
I'm sorry, say that again. Your voice is breaking.
Vocabulary.com, sir,
Huh.
is in Play Store, sir.
Vocabulary what?
Vocabulary.com
Okay.
is here in Play Store, sir. We can download that, and it's very easy to find meaning, sir.
Correct.
I'll
That's
link
right.
that, sir.
Yeah. But you need to practice a lot. You need to speak a lot. You need to read a lot and speak a lot.
Okay, sir.
All right. Any other thing you want to talk about?
No, sir.
All right, Rafi. Thank you so much. Thanks for calling. All right. Let's read this paragraph. The strength of electronics industry in Japan is the Japanese ability to organize production and marketing rather than their achievements in original research. The British are generally recognized as a far more inventive collection of individuals, but never seem able to exploit what they invent. There are many examples from the TSRZ hovercraft, high-speed train and Sinclair scooters to the Triumph, BSA and Norton motorcycle, which all prove this sad rule. The Japanese were able to exploit their strengths in marketing and development many years ago, and the success was at first either not understood in the West or was dismissed as something which could have been produced only at their low price. They were sold because they were cheap copies of other people's ideas churned out of workhouse, which was dedicated to hard grind above all else. It's comparing the Japanese industry versus British industry. Question: it is evident from the passage that the strength of a country's industry depends upon original research, international cooperation, dedicated workforce, electronic development. And the correct answer is dedicated workforce, the kind of people who work. Next, the sad rule mentioned in this passage refers to the inability of the Japanese to be inventive like the British, the inability of the British to be industrious like the Japanese, the lack of variety in Japanese invention, the poorer marketing ability of the British. What is the actual reason? The actual reason is the marketing ability of the British. The British invention was far better than Japanese, but they were not good in marketing. Next, the TSRZ hovercraft, high-speed trains, Sinclair scooter, etc. are the symbol of Japanese success, British failure, British success, Japanese failure. Answer is B, British failure. It's a symbol of British failure because these were amazing invention, but they failed because they could not market it. Next, according to the passage, prosperity in industry depends upon productivity, inventiveness, inventiveness means innovation, marketing ability, official patronage, patronage means support, productivity, inventiveness, marketing ability, official patronage, and the correct answer is marketing ability. Today if I innovate something, if I produce something, I need to tell people how good it is, otherwise how will I sell? There are products which is selling more than a better product. If you look at two different products, one product the sale is much higher. It's not always because the quality is good, it's because the marketing is good. They market more. Next, the last question in this segment. The main theme of this passage is electronic industry in Japan, industrial comparison between Japan and Britain, the role of marketing efficiency in industrial prosperity, the importance of original research in industry. I repeat, the main theme of passage is electronic industry in Japan, industrial comparison between Japan and Britain, the role of marketing efficiency in industrial prosperity, and the last one, the importance of original research in industry. And the answer is marketing, the role of marketing in the efficiency of industrial prosperity, which means if you are good in manufacturing something, if your inventions are good, if your product design is good, if the utility is good, if the pricing is good, amazing, but you also need to market it. It's comparing the British products versus Japanese products. The British product engineering is much better, but they could not market it. Today if you see, we all use an MP3 player or phone, but earlier we used to use a Walkman, right? We used to have a CD player Walkman. It was designed by Sony. But even before Sony designed a Walkman, there was another company called RCA in America, Radio Corporation America. They manufactured and designed a Walkman, but people did not know about it because the marketing was not there. So this particular passage talks about marketing. All right. Do we have a caller? No caller. Caller Ledu. So we call it off now because we are not getting any more calls. I'll see you on Monday, but tomorrow 3 to 5 we do have a session. We'll continue tomorrow 3 to 5, but somebody else will come and train you. All right. So whatever questions you have, please save it for Monday. We'll speak to you on Monday and I'll take it forward. All right. Thank you so much. I'll see you again.